With us, Joint Managing Director of Prabhudas, Lilladher. Amisha, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining in. Let me actually get your thoughts on some of these consumer durable stocks, whether it's a Voltas or a Symphony, some of these names. How would you look at this entire basket, given that overall there's been a lot of talk of this slowdown?
So I think some of them who had very seasonally the best quarter, going forward, they may not have the best of the quarter left for them. And otherwise, the slowdown is still very gripping. So I would still think that in terms of valuation, they're not something which has come to an extremely attractive level. And while there are certain improvements still happening in terms of overall liquidity and interest rate, one needs to see that I think before October or festive season, the uptick in demand broadly will be still evading us. And we need to see how really that starts. So I would still be not too aggressive in adding them, thinking that the corrections have come in the prices.
Okay. Amisha, hi. Good afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining us. So, this quarter, one thing which stood out was that for a couple of consumption names at least, the earnings were quite okay. And the markets also sort of reacted that way. I mean, whether you look at an Asian Paints or you look at a Colgate or a V-Guard, any picks here?
So Asian Paints certainly, has stood out completely in terms of both volume and of course margins were helped by oil and whatever, but even the volume was very good. And I would still continue to be very positive on Asian Paints. And these are some of the 5-7 stocks which we think, not only in terms of valuation, but generally as a business also, whether it is ICICI Bank or Asian Paints or Indigo, continue to look interesting even at current levels.
Okay. Well, quite a few stocks on the mid-cap horizon looking good. V-Guard is at the day's high. There's buying on Heidelberg Cement as well. TVS Motors now 7% up on TVS. Amisha, how are you approaching the battered auto universe? Are stocks already at your buy prices, or are you waiting for a further correction? What's the thought here?
See, I think typically the best is Maruti, and in Maruti, one would definitely like to see first the numbers stabilizing. July numbers would be soon coming. The feedback till now from the ground is not so great. So till the time I see the numbers stabilizing, I wouldn't really hurry up, preempting things, because I think the overall confidence itself is so low. And the contagion and cascading impact is still very high. So I'm sure there are some bounce back rallies which will come both in indices, large cap and little bit mid cap. But I would definitely like to see how the really things are shaping up. How are we halting this? I would still term it as a confidence crisis, which is resulting into many contagion fallouts.
Okay. Well, for what it's worth, Vora of Prabhudas, Lilladher. Amisha, so let me ask you, a wide question. Yes, you are getting some bargain prices in the broader market. Anything that's caught your fancy? I mean, anything that you're picking out here? Auto clearly is a no-no, as you discussed earlier. Anything else?
So, we would probably still make a slightly more defensive portfolio at this juncture. Of course, US Fed rate reduction and the RBI rate reduction are the two key triggers. Also the fact that the emerging markets will be better off as compared to the global markets is also an underlying point which is positive. And last but not the least, that the last 2 quarters were extremely bad for rural economy, and also the tightness of the money in the economy. All that is also going to change for better. But somehow I still get a feeling that the whole economic slowdown is not going to vanish in a hurry. And as it is setting in, we need to, it's just set in. I don't think we are at the end of it as of now. And I think it's going to go a bit longer. So I will be very defensive in terms of constructing portfolio. Of course, sticking to quality names will continue. But generally up till now, we don't put IT, pharma and some of the other MNCs and we chase growth. But I would think that some part of money, a good larger part of money will be put into these sectors now.
Okay.